It was the October of 2012, and my 13-year-old tween-age self was huddled around a barely functional IBM ThinkPad watching the latest Nintendo Direct. This particular Nintendo Direct was focused on 3DS titles, and having just bought a 3DS a few months prior, I tuned in excited to see what I could play next. The Direct went on fairly uneventfully, but then 20 minutes and 30 seconds in, Reggie introduced a game.
At E3, I casually mentioned that this next title would be coming to the Americas, and that little comment created quite a stir. I'm talking about Fire Emblem.
As long as I can remember my childhood, I had wanted a Nintendo Wii. The only video games I had access to were on websites like Miniclip and Nitro. Even then, my parents had a strict half-an-hour policy on the computer. But it all changed when 9-year-old me learned about persuasive writing in grade 6 English. I challenged all of that knowledge on one thing: convincing my parents to buy a Wii. And they did. On my 10th birthday, me and my brother opened up a Nintendo Wii alongside Mario Kart, and we were hooked. In the coming years, alongside Mario Kart, I fell in love with games like Super Mario Galaxy, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and Donkey Kong Country Returns. And one thing you might notice about all these games is that they're platformers. Or maybe also the fact that they're all rated E for everyone. Other than Super Smash Bros. A few years down the line, my parents refused to buy me and my brother a game rated above E. Same with movies. PG was the ceiling and my parents wouldn't budge. As a result, I really couldn't handle any extensive violence in any media. The original Star Wars was even a tough watch for me. It was just the environment I grew up in. Platformers, PG movies, and simple stories. And then came along Fire Emblem. My obsession with the big N meant I waited for Nintendo news like a hawk. So, I had heard about Awakening when Reggie accidentally let it slip that the game was coming to the Americas at E3 that year, and I had played as Martha and Ike in Super Smash Bros., but when Reggie introduced Awakening during that Nintendo Direct in October, it was the first time I had ever seen a Fire Emblem game in action. And what I saw just captivated me. It seemed so different, so much cooler and more interesting than the games I had been playing. Accompanying the gameplay was also awesome cinematics, and it was accompanied by an amazing score. Even to this day, I get shivers watching that trailer despite its cheesiness. Maybe it was my age and I was just subconsciously looking for something new to play or to rebel, but that trailer and gameplay showcase was enough. I was going to get this game. When the demo came out on the eShop, I played it on repeat for days, and then out of nowhere, on February 1st, 2013, I got a call from my local game store. They said I could pick up Fire Emblem Awakening. Confused and not knowing any better, I asked if they knew that the release date was February 4th. They then proceeded to dodge that question and just said, "Hey, you can pick the game up now." The street date had been broken. It was supposed to come out on Monday, but now I had the whole weekend to myself with Fire Emblem Awakening before the general public. I booked it to the store and back, plugged in my 3DS charger, curled up on the couch, and in retrospect, the only word I can use to describe the weekend that followed is magical. Every waking hour of that weekend, I was crouched over my 3DS, going on what truly felt like an adventure. I was so excited for each and every chapter to see what happened next, what challenge would be awaiting me. If I had to pinpoint why it resonated with me so much, I'd have to say it was a huge combination of firsts for me. I had never experienced a story beyond saving the princess. I wasn't used to a tale with war and death at the forefront, a story with politics, morality, tragic events, massacre, and even love. And while Awakening isn't the deepest in these themes, you have to understand that I had no exposure to them in the first place. I had never seen a time travel story, so when I learned Lucina was from the future, my mind was blown. I had never seen a character commit suicide before, so when Emran did, it really hit me hard. Morality in the games I played before was mostly non-existent, so when I killed Yanfei and learned his true nature, I was devastated. My first experience with all of these thematic elements really stuck with me, and I feel like the characters were experiencing them along with me. Almost every character was a fresh face to me that I could learn about, use in battle, and generally connect with and get to know. Of course, the whole experience wasn't just sunshine and rainbows. It was the first time in my life I had played a strategy RPG, and the learning curve was steep. Even with casual mode making its North American debut, I had a really hard time beating the game. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I used my master seals wrong, I didn't know how to make proper skill builds or how inheritance worked. By the time I reached the final boss, my units were a complete mess. But before that final boss, with ID Purpose swelling up in the background, the whole cast cheering you to get on your feet and defeat Grima, I saw my motley crew of units that I had built, that I had supported with one another, that I got to know through both battle and conversation. I saw a reflection of myself, a reflection of my actions. I saw my team, a team that was shaped by me and my decisions, a team that probably looks totally different from yours. It puts into words how I feel about Awakening. It may be a mess in a lot of aspects, but it's a mess that means a lot to me, and it's a mess that connected with me on a level that no game had before. I felt like the game was my friend, like it wanted me to grow, it wanted me to be confident, it wanted me to care, and that was a totally new experience for me. In the following months, all I would talk about to my friends and family was Fire Emblem. Anyone who knows me from those days will know that I constantly pestered them to get the game. I had a taste of what the series was capable of, and I wanted more. So me and a buddy, who I also managed to get on the Awakening bandwagon, decided to pool our money to buy the rest of the games. I had only played Awakening on normal casual prior to this, so when I got my hands on Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, put the disc into my Wii, I struggled to even start. I was just so scared of losing any character. I had grown so attached to the cast of Awakening that putting those potential bonds on the line in Path of Radiance was tough for me. But when I did finally bite the bullet, I discovered a new thrill. See, I grew up in a suburban town, the poster child of suburbia. I've never really had much hardship. I've lived in one of the safest communities in my country in a nice home with an incredibly supportive family. Even when I did go out on a limb, I always had a safety net when I did mess up. So to have that taken away, even if it's just a video game, really made the experience memorable. It mentally challenged me. If I made a mistake, I lost something I cared about permanently, and mentally ingrained myself to never make that mistake again. If I won, it made it all the more rewarding because I put something on the line and I made it through regardless. Playing with stakes added another layer to the experience. It furthered my love for the series even more. It's why I play every game on Classic Mode. It's why right after I went into Radiant Dawn and got my ass kicked. My relationship to the series and how I played it fundamentally changed. My childhood growing up on E4Everyone and PG, my hometown in suburbia, and countless other factors affected how I experienced my first Fire Emblem games, and hence the rest of the series. What someone else is looking for in a Fire Emblem game and how they treat the series in their lives will fundamentally differ from me. I'm sure you have your own story surrounding how you got into the series, why you played the way you do, and what you're looking for in the future. Like almost all media, it means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And I think that reflection on your first Fire Emblem experience, and how it crafted your outlook on the series and even your outlook on the world, can help you understand where another person is coming from when they express their vantage. Because both newcomers and old-timers alike have room to find some common ground. We all love Fire Emblem for one reason or another, and even if those reasons don't align, that's okay. Thanks for watching.